Welcome back to Pat and Go with Paul Browning, the Paul Browning Show. I'm your host, Paul Browning, and today we've got a very, very special guest on. It's a very close friend of mine, was a teammate of mine, and he's doing some big time things. And, he was like, hey, Paul, man, look, for my Christmas present, you got to get me on the show. And I was like, I guess I'll get him on the show. Nah, but he's this really cool guy. I gave him a phone call to make sure we can get him on here, and he decided to hop on. Let's welcome, big time welcome for Pat and Go to Morgan Fox, the defensive end for the Carolina Panthers. Just golf clap.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I'm really excited to be here.
Of course, man. Of course. So, I mean, this is we're a long ways away from the little old CSU Pueblo days. Kind of just talk about like this journey where you're at now. You just left the Rams, came to Carolina. What's going on with you?
It's definitely different. It's been a crazy journey going to Pueblo and being there with you and the experiences we all had down there and the craziness that was being at a small school and then, jumping into a team that had, probably one of the best D lines in football, coming from a small school, had 5 first rounders on the D line, probably the best defensive player of all time on the team, nothing but special talent. And then being able to, get my foot in the door there and stay alive for a while and eventually learn enough from these guys to start making some plays and get recognized a little bit. And then head out here and, trying to be a part of what they're building out here and getting this thing turned around and on the right path.
Yeah, that's something we always talk about just as athletes wanting to get to that second contract. You were able to establish yourself. I love seeing it. You grow on such a tough defensive line. You had Brockers. You had Aaron Donald. It's so many studs on that D line, and for you to be able to make your own name for yourself has been something extremely impressive to me. So I love seeing you do that. Just how does it feel to be where you're at in your life right now, man? You got your new home, and you got your lady. You're in Carolina. Charlotte is such a great city. What's it like?
It's cool. It's weird when you kind of put it like that. And I had this conversation the other day with someone, like, you don't really realize it until you sit down and think like, man, like, I was living in a house with 4 other grown men, a couple years ago on the east side of Pueblo. I didn't even have the carpet with, that house should have been condemned. And, now I'm on a house out by the lake and, in a nice city like Charlotte, have my dream job. Something, you never thought would happen. And then you sit in this, sometimes you got to sit back and just be like, man, it's different and it's crazy, but like, I'm here. I'm not that I've arrived, but like, man, I'm here.
Yeah, 100%. And I love it. I love your mindset. You're like, man, I haven't even arrived yet, but you are in, what is this, year number 6? This will finish. This is year 6. So, I know you say you haven't arrived, but dog, like, you are an NFL player. You got your pension. The pension's like, you didn't hit the years that you needed to hit to get the pension. You're doing it, man. And now to step into a new role being in Charlotte with the Panthers. I even got to see you kind of pick up a leadership role. That's had to have been a crazy experience. Tell me a little bit about that. Just your dynamic changing from being in the Rams locker room. Now they kind of lean on you a little bit more in that defensive room to, be a leader.
It's different because I've never really been like a big vocal leader, a big rah-rah guy. I kind of just put my nose down, work and see how it turns out, lead by example type guy. And, I was really fortunate with the Rams to have guys like, Brockers, who's, a natural leader and, very vocal and knew how to lead guys. So take examples from him. But, getting out here, it's weird because I'm like a young old guy. I'm really not that old. I'm just old at NFL years, but even being in the league, like, I'm 27. I'm not really that much older than a lot of these guys. So it's really weird being that, like, in that leadership role. And even in the NFL, like, you look at like my career, I was on practice squad for a year and I was hurt for a year. So those are really 2 years that I didn't put any mileage on my body. So really, I'm really only 4 years old in the NFL.
Yeah.
I've just been here for 6. And so, but it's been crazy, you know, having to kind of grow with the team, because I've had to definitely try to grow a little more in a leadership role, which, you know, isn't something that I've mastered yet, that I'm definitely trying, you know, and kind of getting through the growing pains of trying to figure out how to be a good leader, and at least vocal leader, instead of just, you know, trying to be silent and lead by example.
Yeah. Well, it seems like Charlotte has like really picked up and like just, I don't know, welcomed you with open arms, man. The city seems like they love you. The Panthers, they love you. I could see it being something long-term. I hope it's something that's long-term. I really liked Charlotte when I was out there. But, you know, how's that reception been in the city with the team? How's that been?
Oh, it's been awesome. The fans have showed me crazy love, you know, wherever I go, people know who I am. And, you know, it's weird having fans like screaming at me at the game because they know who I am, and they like, you know, they like the body of work I put out. So it's cool, you know, it's a different feeling. But the city's definitely, you know, embraced me and embraced, you know, me being here, which is awesome. You know, the team has been nothing short of amazing, you know, being able to, you know, from the coaches to the other players, you know, guys that are real receptive, and just being around it, you know, it feels like a real good environment. And I'm real happy to be here.
Definitely. Did they call you Mo Fox? Are you Juice Man? What nicknames have we picked up?
Nah, it's still Mo Fox. That's the one that stuck. Juice Man was a college thing.
Yeah.
I think Mo Fox is the one that's stuck.
Perfect. Okay. And then Cam. Okay, we both now have, well, shoot, I think the only guys that were in Carolina when I was in Carolina was Shaq and Cam.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that's it. No, I think you guys have my man, the long snapper. I don't know. He may not be there either. JJ. No, JJ's still there. Okay, perfect. Yeah, man, Cam ain't want to break out a new nickname for you or nothing. I know he's notorious for giving all the nicknames out to people.
Nah, he hasn't got me yet, but he's gotten a couple other guys, but he hasn't got me yet.
Bro, he gave me, my nickname with him was Chap.
Was Chap?
Chap. It's weird. Chap, as in like chapstick, because I would lick my lips a lot. So he was like, your chapstick. It was what it was. Real cool guy. I'm back. He's back in Charlotte, man. And I know to see that defense grow on the way with you and Shaq, I think that's something that's super spectacular. Obviously, not the best year. You guys started off really hot, and then kind of, you know, ran into a couple of issues. What's kind of the environment in the locker room like right now?
You know, guys are just working. You know, they're putting their head down and working. And you know, when you look at the games and look at the way we've lost and certain things like that, it's one or two things. You know, it's not a lack of talent. It's not a lack of game plan or anything like that. You know, it's one or two plays, you know, that we know we have to fix, and, you know, going forward, or things that we are fixing. And, you know, in the next, you know, couple games that we're going to keep trying to improve on that. So, you know, when we roll into the next season or what have you, that we're ready to go and not make those same mistakes, you know, especially those same mistakes that cost us close wins. You know, we're definitely right on the cusp of being a very, very good football team. We just, you know, one or two things we got to get figured out consistently, and we're going to be a good team. Oh yeah,
you guys are a good team. I've been on. You can go back on the show, seen it. I've been cheering for the Panthers, hoping that they continue to have a great season. But I guess for you, with Coach Rule, has Coach Rule did he really say to you guys that it takes, you know, it took Jay-Z 4, 5, 6 years to get on? Did he really say that?
He loves Jay-Z. Like he draws a lot of inspiration from Jay-Z.
So he
really does use Jay-Z's, you know, like success story and everything as like an example, you know, of being persevering and understanding that, like, you know, it takes time to become an overnight success. You know, that's his favorite thing to say is it definitely takes years to become an overnight success. So
yeah,
he draws a lot of inspiration from that. So yeah, he's definitely told us that.
Is Jay-Z undefeated on versus? Is he not gonna lose? Or you got Wayne? Who you got? You got Wayne against Jay-Z, huh?
Man, I didn't listen to it. So you know, don't put me on the spot like that. I like them both.
I got 2 more questions for you, man. You've been really hitting a lot of your goals this year. Well, it seems like it. Have you really felt like you've been hitting all those goals? Because you're having a career year right now.
Well, you know, for me, the goal is always win. I mean, you know where we both came from. You know how we both spell fun.
Yeah.
and WIN down there. So, you know, that's something for me is definitely the goal is always to win. And, you know, unfortunately, we haven't been doing that as much as we wanted to. But outside of that, you know, I just want to my goal every year is just to improve and get better at something. And I do definitely feel like in a lot of areas, you know, even though some of the numbers don't show it, I definitely have improved in ways that, you know, I wasn't doing before. You know, I think having, you know, teammates I have around me, you know, coaches around me that have helped me become a better player here for sure. So, like I said, it's all building, you know, and getting to that point where it's going to be a big year, you know, down the road, where whatever time that comes.
And last question, man, is Die Hard the greatest Christmas movie of all time?
Greatest Christmas movie of all time? nothing's beating The Grinch, but it is in the top 5. I had to take it out of my official top 5 because I was catching a lot of heat for it. I was catching a lot of heat. I had to break it down to people that it is a Christmas movie. It does occur at Christmas time, which by definition makes it a Christmas movie.
Hey, man, I'm with you on that. Well, Morgan, man, I really appreciate having you on, and I just look forward to continue to see you grow, and hopefully this grows into, you know, 6 more years, and you got a long 12, 14-year career playing however long you want to play, man. But it's been super fun watching you, and I wish you nothing but the best. So thank you again for coming on, man.
No, thanks for having me. I've had a lot of fun.
Definitely appreciate you, man. So we're going to be right back after this little break. Welcome back to Pat and Go Show with Paul Browning. I'm your host, Paul Browning. And today we have a huge guest on the show. I'm so proud to have met the guy, worked with him a little bit. I'm gonna say that maybe it's an exaggeration, but whatever. I worked with him a little bit. But this is just something that I think the Pat and Go Show has been really waiting for a moment like this, to where we can get in depth and go under the hood on certain topics and with certain people that are just at a top tier level, to where, you know, it gives us a different view of, you know, how others or how some are living, especially in the world of acting. And you've probably seen him on the silver screen a bunch of different times, whether it was Jumanji, on TV with Charmed, I believe. You were even on Grand Theft Auto 5, doing some background vocals for that. So without further ado, Darius, Blain, it's great to have you. I'm gonna give you a little golf clap.
Get out of here. You're overselling me a little bit. You're disappointed, man. But Paul, I'm really proud of you, man, for putting this show together, and glad I'm finally able to get on as a guest and everything. It's got a bucket list item checked off for 2021.
Bucket list item. I love how we put that together. I like that. So what's new? What's going on with you? I know that you were getting ready to New Year's. You have a trip coming up with Top Shelf Getaways. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I started a luxury travel company last year. For actually New Year's Eve last year. So this is our second annual trip now for New Year's Eve. But I put together basically kind of like a travel club, social club for people to kind of get to know each other and travel the world at the same time. The company is founded in the spirit of adventure and kind of healing people from the inside out, and, you know, being somewhere different with really fantastic people from around the world that all have that same thirst for excitement and relaxation and luxury at a set price, you know, something that's not going to break the bank too much, but also kind of teach you how to travel in style. I like to travel in style. I like to meet new people. Traveling has really kind of healed me from the inside out as well, and so I wanted to present that to other people. I have a hospitality background. I worked in restaurants for 12 years. I was a chef and a server and everything in between. So I just always kind of want to take care of people, and traveling and this travel company is a way for me to scratch that itch. So it's been fantastic. We do closed groups, private security, black car service, private chefs, you know, private dining experiences and stuff like that as well, especially during COVID to keep everybody safe. So far, I've taken about 320 people out of the country, and so far not one single positive COVID test has come back. So I feel good that I'm, you know, able to keep people safe and have a good time as well. You know?
Dang, that's excellent, man. I mean, you said what, 300 and you said over 320 people?
About 325 people that we've taken out. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's excellent. And then you said you had worked in hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
What because we got to briefly talk a little bit about your upbringing and you being able to get to where you are today. What was that journey like? I mean, did you end up going to college? Did you do different things, or what happened?
Yeah, yes and no, kind of. My whole life, I always wanted to be a doctor. I come from an immigrant family. You know, my family's Haitian and Dominican. My father's side, anyway. My mom was adopted. She's American, but my dad's side is the only family I've ever known. It's the only family I've had. And so they drill it into you that you need to, you know, focus on your studies and be a doctor or a lawyer or engineer or work somewhere in government so that you can make sure that you can provide for your family. But honestly, I always secretly really loved entertainment, specifically acting. Movies were my life. They still are to this day. And so I always had this kind of secret yearning and I would always like secretly memorize movies. And so I was an extremely shy kid. So I never thought that there was a way for me to get into that. But as I got older, I started, you know, auditioning for plays and stuff. Actually, the first play I was ever in was a play that my mom was directing. She was the drama teacher at my middle school. And the English teacher as well. And so I ended up doing that play and I kind of, you know, got bit by the acting bug. So it was always in the back of my mind, but even into my second year in college, I was a biology major. I always wanted to be a doctor. And then kind of just one day, I was driving my girlfriend at the time to an audition at Disneyland, or Disney World in Orlando for this acting modeling talent competition. I was waiting in the lobby for her and the lady who was signing people in was like, you should do this. And I was like, no way. Anyway, she convinced me to do it. And the rest is kind of history. I ended up going to AMTC, which is acting modeling talent competition, where I met who would become my manager for 6 years, and got set up with an agent and the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts. And so I dropped out of, you know, traditional school where I had, you know, 2 full academic scholarships. And I followed my heart, man. I followed my gut. And I wanted to just kind of poke and prod and check out what this acting thing was all about and see if maybe there was something I could do there. But I just knew I didn't want to have any regrets. And so I walked out of my biology class that day, you know, looked my teacher in the eye, and I think we both knew I was never coming back, and ended up being the best decision I ever made. So technically, I'm a college dropout. I went to a conservatory for 2 years, but again, the best decision I ever made. It's put me in a position to be able to, you know, take care of my family, you know, better than I could have ever imagined. And I'm still only really just getting started. You know, I've been really blessed to work a lot, but this is still the beginning stages of my career. You know, it takes a long time to be able to really, you know, get to the pinnacle of success in this business, and hopefully I'll always be climbing, you know.
We're talking with Darius Blain right now, actor. Shoot, I feel like you got way more titles that I can throw behind that, but it's just just a guy. But we're talking with Darius Blain right now. So, you know, you talked about a lot of your journey, even, you know, being a college dropout. I mean, you really, you kind of went for it when you the way you described it. And I think that's something that I know that there's a lot of people who may struggle with just going for it. Was there something in your mind when you were doing some of these roles, when you were maybe not doing some of those, but when you're trying to try out and trying to get casted for some of these roles, was there something that like one day click, or a certain role that you ended up getting and you were like, oh, you know what? This is it. This is where the doors are open. This is when I got it.
To be perfectly honest with you, I mean, anybody who's just going for it still has doubt in their mind. They're still afraid. I mean, I'm scared every day. This is a business where you kind of have to kill to eat. You know, if I don't book a job, I don't work. And if I don't work, then I don't eat. I don't have provision. So it's always going to be scary because we're gunslingers. You know, I always say, you know, everybody moves out to the Wild Wild West, and it's a gold rush. You know, to an extent. So just because people are going for their goals doesn't mean that they're you know, absent of fear. You know, courage is not the absence of fear. It's just pressing through and just going ahead and doing it while you're afraid. And so I actually was talking about that today. I just could never live a life where I'm not doing what I want to do. You know, I think life is meant to be lived. It's not meant to be endured. The difference is that I would not mind doing this even if I had to eat ramen noodles for 2 years or something like that, and there was nothing else for me. And I've been in those positions too, where, you know, I was parking almost a mile away from auditions sometimes to avoid paying for parking meters because I couldn't afford the $4 for an hour that it took for me to sit at the studio lot or whatever, you know. Those moments are not lost on me, and I think it humbles you for sure. Those things they stick with you. I've felt the sting of poverty for the majority of my life as well. You know, I didn't grow up having much. You know, my mom didn't have much. She did her very best, and I'm so grateful for her. And I think those moments have, you know, given me the ambition and the drive and the hunger, you know, that I still have to this day, you know, 11 years into my career. But end of the day, I'm always scared. I'm scared every day. And life's good, to be perfectly honest with you, but any day could be my last job. It could be, any gig could be my last gig. I heard this story a while back about Sir Anthony Hopkins, who is one of my favorite actors ever, you know, Silence of the Lambs and
Hannibal.
Right, Hannibal Lecter, exactly. And he calls his family every time he books a job. They're like, he's like, I booked an acting job. And at this point, his family's like, dude, you got two Oscars. So that, I think that just gives you some insight into how unsure this business is. Anything in entertainment, sports, and all that stuff. It can feel like there's kind of an expiration date on those things. And so you keep yourself sharp, and I think you keep reinventing yourself, and you keep trying to figure out, okay, what's next, while also simultaneously trying to live in the moment. But I'm always wondering what's next. And so I write. And so I you know, my goal is to start producing my own projects in this next year, et cetera. But to always be people watching too, because as I grow and as I age, I become, you know, when I started in this business, I was playing, you know, teenagers and, you know, 17 years old and stuff like that. I'm older now. And so I have to know what does it look like for me to play a father, or to play a husband, or whatever. So I'm a student of life. I'm always watching people. You know, when I was on the football field with you guys, I didn't play football, you know, at any high level. I played in middle school for 1 year or something like that, you know, but I don't know what a pro athlete, you know, that is the best football player that's ever lived, you know, looks like. But I can watch you guys who have played at that level and see how your body moves and everything like that, and try to carry myself like that, with that type of swagger and stuff like that. So it's constantly being a student of life. Acting has taught me so much. It's made me so grateful. But, you know, every moment you have to treat it as your last, you know, in this business. And honestly, I think we've all gotten a lesson on mortality and everything in the last, you know, almost 2 years now with COVID and everything like that. So it just makes you that much more grateful. And so I feel lucky to have been chosen by this craft, you know?
Well, I love how you put that. And I've always thought that athletics and entertainment, they're synonymous when it comes to chasing that dream. Absolutely. You know, you really do put it all out on the line, and there's times where you are, it may seem bleak, but often those who continue to push forward may run into some of those hurdles, obviously, but can usually outlast that storm. So it's great to hear you talk about that. It inspires me.
Like Kurt Warner, maybe?
Like Kurt Warner, maybe, which would actually which actually kind of brought me to where I was getting ready to move into. You said you didn't play football. You look like it for sure, and I'm pretty sure that's why you usually have been cast. I've seen you casted as a football player.
COVID-19 weight that I got on me. That's how.
In what? Shoot, man, Jumanji, you were a football player. The Big Leap, which we could talk about that. You're a football player as well. Obviously, American Underdog. I mean, you have really been able to, really look like a football player. Do you have a love for the game?
Footloose, yeah.
Yeah, Footloose. Yeah. So shoot, do you have a love for the game? I seen you take your son to the Rams game, his first football game Is there a love for football for you
Oh,
guys?
man, I love football. I love football through and through. My brother, when we were kids, God rest his soul, he was probably the best football player I've personally ever seen, who ended up, unfortunately doing nothing with it, his life in a different direction. And, unfortunately never really tapped his full potential on that. But my brother ran a 4.2 40 with a vertical leap. Like, he was dunking at 5'9". I didn't start dunking until I was like 6'1". He was just a freakish athlete. He had he played DB like Champ Bailey, and he had the hands of Santana Moss. Like, he was an incredible hybrid player, and he hit really hard. I think that's kind of what made me realize I didn't want to play football. Like that. I remember my first week of football practice, I got the wind knocked out of me by like a quarterback, man. And I was on the floor. I was like, he was in like 9th grade, and I was in like 7th grade, and I got hit so hard. I was like seeing stars. I was like, yo, I don't like this. I don't think I had the hands for it either, to be perfectly honest. I'm a guy, I can play any sport. I pride myself on it. I think just growing up in the neighborhood, you have to be able to play anything, or the kids won't play with you. And I grew up in Miami, Florida. So, like, I mean, it's tough out there. Nobody cares if you're bleeding, But I've always had a deep love for football. Basketball just kind of came to me more naturally. And then with my height, being almost 6'5", I think it was kind of it was easier. And my mom was like, I don't want you getting hurt. And also, football is just more expensive to play in the summertime.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I ended up playing basketball and getting more hurt than I ever did playing football. But I always loved football. But being an actor, you gotta embrace what you look like and see how you fit in the world in terms of that. I'm 6'5", 250 pounds. I mean, people look at me and they think I'm a pro football player all the time.
Gotta be, or forward.
That.
You gotta be a forward.
Absolutely. Exactly. Yeah. But the great thing about all the different football players I've played over the years, I think 5 or 6 of them in different projects, When the Game Stands Tall, I've played football too, is that most of those projects had nothing to do with actually football. So, Footloose had nothing to do with football. I just happened to be a football player, and it was not football centric. I didn't really play any football in the movie. Survivor's Remorse was about my antics off the field, so I never played football. The Big Leap is about dance, and it's about love, and it's about people becoming greater versions of themselves. So most of these projects have had nothing to do with football. American Underdog and When the Game Stands Tall are the only two that had to do with football. And When the Game Stands Tall was 8 years ago. I was a high school player, and then American Underdog, I'm a pro football player. So two very different worlds, and two very different stories as well. So hopefully don't get typecast or anything into that.
No, I got you. Well, let me take a break, because you give me like so much great stuff. I'm gonna take a break just kind of so we can at least cut, make sure we get to break real quick. And I want to talk even more. But this is Pat and Go, the Pat and Go show with Paul Browning, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Pat and Go show with Paul Browning. I am Paul Browning, obviously your host, and right now I've got Darius Blain with me. Such a great actor. I'm gonna say A-list. He's been able to shoot so many different movies: Footloose, Jumanji, American Underdog. He's on TV. He just did The Big Leap. Matter of fact, I want to start there. You did The Big Leap. You are Reggie Sadler, right? And sadly plays with the Lions. What was it like playing that role? I mean, it's almost like he goes and he's trying to redeem his perception, or people's perception of him, right? After some off the field issues, and ends up falling in love during a dance competition. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that role and being casted for that.
Big Leap has been an incredible experience. COVID set us back so many times that it delayed the release of our show almost a year and a half. So I've been casting the show almost 2 years, but we just had our debut for the show this September, just 3 months ago. Yeah. But it's a lesson on perseverance and sticking with what you love and stuff as well. But the Big Leap surrounds a bunch of kind of down on their luck underdogs who are all at different, kind of twilights of their lives and careers, where they realize that they haven't fully embraced a life that is just their own, one that they've taken advantage of and taken control of. And so we've got, a lady with, body image issues who happens to be a single mom, who had to give up dance because life, kind of hit her. We've got another guy who's, dealing with divorce now, losing his job, post-pandemic. We've got, another person who's dealing with their sexuality. And then there's my character, who is at the twilight of his football career and kind of trying to figure out who he is. And so, my character, Reggie Sadler, Pro Bowl tight end, used to be Pro Bowl tight end, who's dealing with alcoholism a bit and making a fool of himself on the field. I mean, the show is fun and it's light, and it also has some depth and some drama as well. But I kind of realized through this experience of my dance partner on this show, where I essentially go on the show to try to make up some money because I've been suspended from the NFL for so long, et cetera. But I meet this girl, Gabby Lewis, who teaches me that there's more to me than meets the eye, and that football is not my identity. It's something that I do, but it's only a part of me. And so she helps me to realize that I have more to offer the world than meets the eye. And that ultimately leads to us, having a friendship and then eventually a love story. It's streaming on Hulu and Disney Plus as well. There's something for everyone in this show. I truly mean that. I've been in projects that I personally wouldn't watch, as a fan normally. This is not one of them. I think everyone from your grandmother to, a 6-year-old can watch this show and say, I see a piece of me in this show. And I'm really, really proud that Disney and Fox came together to make this. And I think it's kind of a difference maker. It's a breath of fresh air during all this stuff that we're dealing with right now, with this worldwide pandemic and everything. It'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry, and it'll make you think. And I always love to represent characters and projects that speak to that sentiment as well.
Oh yeah. Might I say, I remember seeing on social media, The Big Leap is Kim Kardashian's favorite show.
Yeah.
Right now. So that's cool. And she put it out there, said, man, there's probably millions of people who just went and seen that. So that's really cool. It has excellent reviews. And I think you tapped on it. I think also you being Mike Hudnut in American Underdog also taps on it. But as an athlete, I know something that I dealt with and a lot of my teammates had ended up dealing with was, you play football for so long that you believe that that's who you are. And that's all that you are. So then when the game stops for you, you struggle to find what's next for you. And, I know for me meeting my wife, she was able to be somebody who was able to tell me, you are way more than just football. So I think that's really that's really beautiful. And like you said, Big Leap is streaming right now on Hulu and also
Disney Plus. Disney
Plus, correct. But yeah, I do want to jump into also the other movie that is out currently. We have 2 movies that just came out, The Fortress and also American Underdog. Just to start on American Underdog, that's where I got to meet you. We were filming out in Oklahoma City. You're a great dude, man, and you're down to earth. And I think that was something that was really special for me when we just kind of got to chopping it up and got to hang out with you for a little bit. Real cool dude, man. But what was it like doing Mike Hudnut and also being able to tell that story? Because this is a movie, I went to go see it with my family. It's 97% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Yeah.
Getting all type of excellent.
It's like nothing, so that's a big deal.
It's doing numbers, and when it comes to the critics and how everybody's kind of being receiving it, just how did it feel? Kind of doing some of the other scenes. Cause I know I just did the football scenes with you, but just knowing that you were being a part of telling the Kurt Warner story.
Kurt Warner's been one of my favorite players, since childhood. I remember his Greatest Show on Turf team, going out there and really lighting it up that season. Those were some of the earlier seasons in which I started watching pro football and stuff and becoming a big fan of it. So it was a cool time to be a part of. you know, as a fan. You know, fast forward to present day where I get the opportunity, you know, from the Irwin brothers, you know, Andrew Irwin emailed me and was like, hey, you know, I'd love to have a Zoom and talk to you about this thing. And he offered me this role. And I remember when they sent me the name of my character, I Googled the guy real quick. It's like, he must be a good guy. And I find, you know, this very large white man. And I'm like, okay, I think they sent me the wrong character name. So let me just tell them real quick, like, hey, I think you sent me the wrong guy. And they were like, no. This is exactly who you're going to be playing. I was like, okay, something's off here, you know.
Super cowboy too.
So yeah, and he's a cowboy, right? So I had an opportunity to talk with Andrew Irwin, and he told me that Mike Hudnut was not only, you know, one of Kurt's linemen in college, but he's also they'd written him into kind of an amalgamation of a bunch of different people that had inspired Kurt throughout the years and encouraged him never to give up. So I didn't represent just one person. You know, some of the conversations and stuff that are had with me and him in the movie are from other teammates throughout the year. So I thought that was really cool that they put that together in that way. And I was like, you know what, this is cool. This is a different look for me as well. You know, I'm a fan of cowboy boots and 10-gallon hats now as well. You know, I'm a fan of period pieces and anything that has to do with history and autobiography. So that was fun. But overall, the story's about love. It's about perseverance. It's about ambition and never giving up. And those are qualities that I hope that people would you know, associate with me as well. And so I'm really glad I got to be a part of it with Zach Levi and Anna Paquin and Dennis Quaid again, you know, reuniting from our Footloose days. Hayden Zeller crushed it out there, and of course all our football players, man. I mean, y'all really did the damn thing. I watched the movie and I was like, wow, this looks really real. It's really authentic. As an athlete growing up, I always watch movies and I'm like, oh, that looks whack, or that, you know, that actor can't actually like play or whatever. And I hate bad sports scenes. So we got really lucky to be with dope stunt coordinators and real professional athletes that helped make us look really good too. And I was impressed with how it all came together, man. The story was told beautifully. And Kurt and Brenda, the real life Kurt and Brenda are two of the most incredible human beings I've ever met. He checked on me while I was sick. I was sick a few weeks ago with COVID. Actually ended up missing the movie premiere, and they FaceTimed me and asked if they could bring me, you know, soup and medicine. They're just good people. And so I'm glad that I got to be a part of telling their story as well.
Just a quick little thing on Kurt and his wife. I remember we went and broke for lunch, and this man, he's a Hall of Fame, he's a Super Bowl champion. He waits at the end of the line. And this is his movie. This is a movie about him. And we're all breaking for lunch and we're all just waiting to get to the buffet. And he's behind all of us. I remember him standing behind me. I was like, dude, cut us. This is your movie. And he was such a humble, good dude. He was like, nah, like, eat. You guys got it. And I don't know. It just spoke to the character, not only of him, but like I said, all the people who were brought on for the movie, like yourself. I mean, we had some pretty big names, and you guys were really cool and really embraced us all. So I know I appreciate that. But Fortress, that has also come out recently. Tell me a little bit about that one. You're not a football player now.
I'm not a football player. Nah, I'm an assassin. I'm a trained assassin who is part of a team of all these kind of vigilantes that come to this Forge Mountain retreat where Bruce Willis is an ex-CIA agent who is retired and has intercepted $60 million from ultimately my boss, and we're there to take it back. And so we take everyone hostage, and I'm the leader of all the assassins. And so I had to put my bad guy hat on real quick, you know, and had to check that out. It was a really, really fun role to be able to kind of, you know, lean into a darker side of myself. And, you know, what little boy didn't run through the woods, you know, pretending to be, you know, pew shooting people and everything. You know, we did the Cowboys and Indian things as kids and stuff, and so it was cool to kind of do it as a grown up and roll around in the jungle of Puerto Rico and do this movie. Chad Michael Murray's become one of my really good friends The director, James Cullen Brezak, is also a very, very good friend of mine. Had the opportunity to work with Jesse Metcalf, who's, a really fantastic actor, and Kelly Grayson. And we just worked with a lot of really, really great people who made this thing really pop and made it kind of, explode into action. And it's a fun time. You can catch that on demand on pretty much all streaming services as well right now.
Perfect. Well, so Darius, that's gonna do it for the time that we have. And I guess I got one more question because this is Pat and Go show. Do you have a favorite football team?
Man, hey, I'm a big Colts fan. Tony Dungy used to come to my church when I was a kid. So go Colts. Love them always. I also love the Steelers too. They're having a down year, but somehow are finding ways to at least get 500. With the aging quarterback and a lot of injuries and such. But yeah, man, go Colts, man. I don't know. I hope they pull something out and make it. But I follow a lot of players. So I'm a player. Yeah. So, Baby Yoda is one of my favorite players. Russell Wilson's always been one of my favorites. Lamar Jackson is out there crushing it. I really think this kid, Joe Burrow, is about to be a monster for
he's going to be crazy.
Man, he's got a crazy arm. And Jamar Chase got hands off this world, too. So that's going to be fun watching the Bengals over the next couple of years as well. I hope Deshaun Watson bounces back. And, I hate the Cowboys, but go Dak. I love football, man. I love seeing these incredible athletes who can do things that I could never even imagine doing. You've
done them though. You've done them. It's filmed. It's filmed.
It was my stunt guy. Yeah, man.
Darius, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I couldn't say thank you enough. I really appreciate you. I appreciate you and your hospitality too. For me and also you reaching out to me in certain instances and telling me, hey man, go do this acting thing. You got it. Like, go do it. So I really appreciate you, and I'm gonna continue to do that, and I'm gonna continue to grind, and hopefully one day we're gonna be in a movie together again soon. But no, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming out. That's gonna do it for the Pat and Go show with Paul Browning. Be sure to tune in again next week. But thank you so much, Darius. I really appreciate you. We'll be talking to you later, all right?
Gentleman and scholar, man. I'll talk to you soon, bro.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Welcome back to Pat and Go with Paul Browning. Pat and Go, the Paul Browning Show. I've always got some really great guests, but today I'm really happy to have this guy on. We go. I won't say too far back, but we kind of go a little far back.
Far enough.
So he's an excellent football player. He's with the Houston Texans right now. Year number 7 right now as a pro. And he's with the Houston Texans, like I said, on the offensive line. He moves from guard to tackle to center. Whatever you need him to do, he'll play them all. This is Justin McCray. I'm going to give him a little bit of a golf clap.
Come on.
It's great to have you. It's great to have
For
you
sure.
out.
Great to be had, man. I'm glad to be here.
Definitely, man. So this is my Under the Hood segment. So usually we like to go under the hood and talk, go in depth on certain topics. But today I've got you, so I kind of wanted to see, or at least give our audience a little bit more of a peek into who you are. You have a pretty interesting story in getting into the league. So I want to be able to talk about that. But first off, you're coming off of COVID. You was on the COVID list.
Man.
You all good? You feeling all right?
I'm smooth now, but I ain't gonna lie. Last weekend, weekend before last rather, but it was almost over for me. But I have never felt that bad in my entire life, man. But that was last weekend. That was the weekend before Christmas, and then through the week I started feeling better, and then I finally got 2 negatives back to back on Friday and Saturday, so I'm good now. I'm smooth.
Good, man. Good. I'm glad to hear. And NFL has just changed. I got an alert. They just changed some of that COVID protocol from the 9 days to the 5 days.
That's wild. I ain't gonna lie to you, but hey, it is what it is. But I don't know anybody who's testing negative after 5 days, but it is what it is. That's all I can say about it, I guess.
No doubt, man. But even with that being said, the past 2 weeks, one thing that's pretty cool about Houston is you guys are coming off 2 big wins.
Yes, sir.
Beat Jacksonville and then turn around and Chargers.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, you guys were the first to be eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a real big time spoiler role that you guys are playing, especially when it came to what you guys did with the Chargers. What's it like in the locker room right now?
I mean, honestly, bro, we had a tough year this year, but the whole mantra behind the season is just, growing as a team and getting better. And these last 2 weeks, we definitely been doing that. We were down a lot of guys last week just because of COVID, and guys got expanded roles and upgraded roles, and then guys just came out and played, man. Played their hearts out, played their butts off, and we made a lot of plays in the game. And I'm just really happy where we are right now, given the circumstances,
Yeah, I was rooting for Texans a lot. The Texans a lot this year, just because of that. You guys have been a team we had a whole bunch lined up against you guys from the start, and people didn't really expect much. And you guys came out and played really good football, even with a lot of the injuries that came. I mean, you guys lost Tyrod super early on in the season, and
second game of the year.
Yeah, and it's like you guys are a very talented team. So now there's a couple guys here and went. I know we had a guy from out here, Colorado. Phil Lindsay was out there for a little bit.
Yes, sir. Yeah, my guy, Filthy Phil.
Yeah, but you guys got a real big time ball player, Davis Mills. I seen you on social media giving him his flowers and go, hey, the NFL world, I think needs to pay a little bit more attention to what he's doing.
Bro, man, it's amazing, honestly, to really think about it. Like, this guy, Davis, third-round pick this year, but really in college didn't play that much football. Started 11 games in college, I think. So, started 11. So he's learning everything on the run, man. And the things he's able to do this year, just grasping the game, the knowledge, seeing different things. Like, it's going to be a learning curve for him for a while, but, he's hitting the ground running right now, man. He's doing a lot of good things, and I'm proud of him.
That's special, man. Money Mills. And then last week, Rex Burkhead turned around and having a huge game.
Just went crazy, man. That's Rex, though, man. Rex is year 10, 11. I'm not sure which one it is, but bro, every day in practice, working hard, always working on his body in the training room with the weight coaches, man. Just a pro's pro, man. So just to see him go out there and set new career highs for himself in year 10, that's a major thing. But that's what Rex does, though, man. He's gonna come in and work and perform. So I was happy to see that too. That's my guy.
Man, that's big time. So I did have an interesting question before we jump a little bit more into you. One of the big interesting questions I had for me was, what was it like playing during the pandemic? And there were so many different things that people had to deal with. I think we got a little bit of insight when it came to the Hard Knocks with the Rams, but even that doesn't tell the whole story. Hard Knocks never really tells the whole story of what's going on. But playing in a pandemic year, what was that like for you, man?
Man, honestly, the year I think about it the most was the 2020 season. Just I was in Atlanta playing with Atlanta, and then the first game of the year we played Seattle, and there's nobody in the stands. I mean, it felt almost like how in spring ball in college, that first Saturday practice usually pads and nobody's in the stadium. Yeah, it felt like that was the energy. They the opposing team makes a play on the ball, and you can hear the entire sideline. It's something totally new to me. It's bro, you can literally hear everything that's going on. So it was just not having fans in the stadium. It made it. I don't even know what the word is, but it was just completely different, man. So playing in it last year, and then towards the end of the year, they started letting family and friends come in, get in the games and stuff like that. So it sort of started getting back to normal, but playing a regular game without anybody in the stadium, it almost makes it feel like practice, to be honest. So it was a different experience for sure.
And then that transition into this year, it had to be man, so great to be back to regular football.
This year was way better, man. Just having the fans back in the stadium, having your family. Last year, I started a couple games in Atlanta, and my people couldn't even come to the game, man. Usually, whenever that's a big thing to start in the league. Whenever I'm getting to start, I'm like, hey man, y'all come pull up, man. Come show some love. You feel me? But not being able to have that, to having that this year, playing more expanded role in Houston, playing a lot more here and having my people in the crowd for me. That's been major.
That's special, man. That's special. Now, I do want to get a little bit into you being in Houston now. You've been able to move around a little bit. What's the reception like in Houston? How you like being in the city, being with the Texans, man? It's got to be a great new experience, man. You've been getting mad play. I mean, I've been just seeing you balling out, man. So, like, what's that been like?
Bro, it's been honestly, the city of Houston is dope. I don't know if you've ever been, but bro, the food, the city, the vibes, Houston is dope, man. And whenever you can come through, bro. I got a spot, I got a room for you here.
Hey, okay.
But Houston is awesome, man. Aside from it's worse than Florida. I feel like it's hot every day. I mean, bro, we 81, 82 in December.
Oh,
but just being here though with the organization, man, I feel like it's a great place to be just because it's a bunch of new people, a bunch of guys proving themselves that they can still play in the league or trying to get their first shot at playing, and like everybody's hungry. You feel me? I got my old offensive line coach from Cleveland and Green Bay here, so it's a familiar face. And bro, I've been playing well, been playing a lot. So it's aside from the losing and things like that, which will turn around soon here. But just being able to play and actually get on the field has been amazing this year, man.
That's excellent. So just a little bit of getting into your journey, man. I mean, I met you through your brother.
Yeah.
You got a twin brother.
Yep.
And I played with your twin brother Jordan in Carolina with the Panthers. And then the three of us ended up in Orlando with the Orlando Predators in arena football in 2016. And I remember seeing you, and I thought you were your brother. So I walked up and started talking to you.
And I didn't know who you were. I was like, man, who is this? You must think, you must think I'm Jordan, huh, man? I'm Justin. I'm his twin brother. Nice to meet you, brother.
Nah, man, but dog, you have a heck of a story to go from. You came out 2014. You went to Green Bay first?
Tennessee first.
First, you was at Tennessee first. Tell me a little bit about that journey, man.
So, man, 2014 didn't get drafted. Went to Tennessee, was on their practice squad the whole year. Really only could play one position, so that was sort of, I didn't really know the ins and out of the leagues. I thought, I could play right guard, man. I'm gonna just thug it out here. I could play this one position the rest of my career, but that's not how it works for free agents. It's the more you can do. So I ended up getting cut after the third preseason game in 2015. That was when you and Jordan were in Carolina.
Yeah.
Went back home, didn't really know what to do, just training. Got an opportunity to play arena ball. I got a call from Mike DeJulio to play arena ball in Orlando. I said, man, we played college ball in Orlando at UCF, so we might as well go out there. Went out there, had a blast. Didn't make no money for real, but you can't tell me that them Club Orlando days and playing for the Predators, we had a blast playing arena football. Yeah. Ended up sticking around in Orlando, working for a hotel as a bellman, and we went back to our pro day in 2017.
Yeah.
Went to our pro day at UCF, and Green Bay saw me, brought me up for a workout, and ended up having a great preseason, making the team. And that year I started 9 games, so it was just history after that. Played there 2 years.
On Monday Night Football, I remember seeing that.
Man,
that was against Atlanta, wasn't it?
That was Atlanta, yeah.
Yeah.
My first career start, Sunday Night Football against the Atlanta Falcons, man.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking the whole day, I was like, bro, this can't be real. I'm gonna wake up eventually. But that was the start of my career for real, man.
So when you look back at the whole journey to get to where you got to, what's the recollection? Like, how do you feel? How does it feel? You're living your dream. You put in so much work. You put in so much effort, and now it's materializing. Obviously, you still I know you still grinding. You still hungry. Yeah. But dog, you're living your dream, man. What does that feel like?
Honestly, man, the only thing I can say is I'm blessed, man, because just being in that predicament, knowing the amount of guys that can actually really truthfully play, like you, my brother. There's so many guys that can actually really play football, and that don't get the same opportunity as me. Is I was chosen, I was blessed, man. It's just a great feeling just to be able to go out there and put on for guys like that, not only for myself, and just it's a blessing for real, man. That's the only way I can really explain it.
Yeah. Well, you've been putting on, man. I'll tell you one thing. That's one thing you've been doing. I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you.
Appreciate you, my G.
I wish you nothing but a healthy season to end it all out, and that y'all win out. I'd love to see that happen.
I love it.
New contract for you. But,
come on, I need
it. Besides that, just one last question, man. What's the resolution? 2022. What you trying to see in your life?
2022, man. I'm getting married, man. So that's the first thing. I'm getting married in June, bro.
Congratulations.
Just elevating, man. Just being the best child of God, best husband, best football player, best brother, best son, everything, man. I'm just trying to be the best I can be. Whatever it takes to get to that, that's what I'm gonna do.
I really appreciate having you on. Justin McCray, offensive lineman for the Houston Texans. This is Pat and Go, Paul Browning Show.